Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Chivas Del Norte podcast. My name is Varo, and with me today, Melissa. Melissa, how are you?
Never been better. Super líderes for 4 jornadas in a row. I mean, please don't wake me up if this is a dream.
I mean, things are back to normal. Chivas is still super líder. Lisa Cervantes is top of the table in goal scorers, and Maria Sanchez is still dropping dimes every game.
All this as it should be.
Yeah, exactly. No disappointment from Chivas Femenil this week.
Yeah, they're the ones brightening our weekends and our days.
Yep, can't say the same for the men, but I don't want to bring our mood down, so we're not gonna talk about that.
Just positive vibes for the Femenil podcast.
Yep, only positive vibes. So let's just get started. We got Chivas Femenil versus Mazatlan on Monday night. They basically steamrolled Mazatlan, a 5-0 win, and like I said, they ended the fourth match day in first place. Going into the game, they needed a 3-goal win to at least tie Tigres at the top of the table, and they
Yeah,
did
and they
more
needed
than that.
four.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was it four
Yeah,
that they needed?
yeah, I think that they needed four like to leapfrog completely over
Yeah,
Tigres because I don't know like what the tiebreaker is.
right.
Haven't really checked that. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of like maybe expecting that Mazatlan would be able to sneak in a goal or something, but they completely overdid. Like even my expectations of I know that it can be like a very big win, but I wasn't expecting them to like really pull a 5-0 and like a clean sheet.
Yeah, I know last week you joked that Alicia would have 4 goals and it'd be like a 5-0 win. Almost happened.
Yeah, I'm onto something there.
I mean, so at the 10th minute, Alicia Cervantes just gets us started. A good run down the wing to the box, and she's so elusive with the ball that the defender just gets stuck and ends up clipping her foot, and she draws the penalty and buries the penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was wondering like who's going to kick that because I know that Nicole Perez would sometimes take that role,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that it was good for them. Like I know that maybe it must be like a team agreement because they're really trying to push Alicia to the top goal scoring place, and like even Maria Sanchez mentioned in an interview, like I want to be top in assists and I want Licha to be like top in goals scored. So it looks like the team's really getting behind her to bring her to that golden boot race.
Yep, I think Macias could take a couple of pointers from Alicia in terms of penalty kicks.
Yeah, they also had like that interview where Maria and Licha said that would be happy to go and play with the guys if they were called. So maybe you should give them a call.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, sign them up because we need them. I don't know. I saw a retweet on the timeline. I forget who retweeted it, but it was about, I think in Japan, a women's player got called up to the men's team, and it
Yeah,
was
that
like the
was
first time.
yeah, Yuki Nagasato from Chicago Red Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since there's no NWSL yet, she's going to go on a loan to Japan, and she's going to play with a men's team. She's really good. I really enjoy watching her.
Yeah, I was gonna quote tweet it and put Maria Sanchez and Alicia Cervantes next, please. Send them to Chivas.
Yeah, even if just for penalties, like you can just have her like in football where they have like the kicker. She can just come in and kick penalty kicks and then just get out of the field.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely take her. And then 22nd minute, we had a Norma Palafox golazo. The funny thing about that play is when Maria Sanchez got the ball on the wing, I saw Norma was like wide open. She was making like a great run, and I saw it. But then I also saw Alicia Cervantes was also making a run. And in my head, I was like, I really hope she doesn't try to force it to Alicia just to try to keep pushing her to the top of the goal scorer list. But she placed it beautifully for Norma, and Norma just connected great, and what a goal.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that also Cervantes has been making like those little moves and adjustments to free space for others. Like she's not necessarily looking to finish everything, but yeah, I mean, it was great to see Norma finally get a goal, so we can put all those dump headlines that she hasn't scored since I don't know when to rest,
Yeah,
and it must be like really great for her. Like she's playing like better and she's recovering her rhythm and everything, but like getting that goal, it just takes all that pressure off, and like from the emotional standpoint that she was able to do that just around the anniversary of her mom's passing,
yeah,
so she brought out like this t-shirt that said I love you mom, so I think that that also kind of added, and she called it because she tweeted the day before the match, tomorrow is going to be a great day. I think that she knew that she was going to score.
yeah. That was awesome celebration from her, and that finish, so good that it got it's up for goal of the week on the Liga MX Femenil Twitter account. So if you guys are listening, go vote for Norma Palafox's goal. Even though a lot of those goals that are there are just as great, I think.
Yeah, but just Palafoxes is better, so just go for it. Yeah, I mean it was a great goal. I mean that also needs to be said. Like even though Maria Sanchez has been great at putting these assists, the both Palafox and Licha and everyone has been able to really deliver great finishing too. Like even if we were saying that on the after I think the first match that the commentator saying, oh well, with those assists it's very easy to finish, but when you really see them up close, even the finishing is not that easy to do, and they've been executing it perfectly. That's why it looks like so smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you mentioned that Licha goal, Melissa, and remember that tweet that said, what was it? What was the expected goal of that shot? Like 0.15 or something like that.
Yeah,
So
it
not
was really
easy.
low.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. But
not
those
easy.
are the things that you notice, like on the replay or with the slow motion, that they're really nailing down like these little adjustments that it's incredible that they're able to do, like as a reaction or as a reflex. So it's been great to see them with that finish for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then 25th minute, Alicia Cervantes again, a great header in the box, assisted by Maria Sanchez. And we get another look at, like you've been mentioning, Alicia Cervantes' great movement in the box, outside the box, just everywhere on the field. She knew exactly where the ball was going, and she kind of tricked the defender into. It was just like a burst of speed out of nowhere, and she drilled that header.
Yeah, she Licha is like really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So some like maybe people didn't expect that, but she has like a really good speed. And I know that there was like some controversy about fair play on that, but
Yeah.
I mean, a goal's a goal, and we will take them.
Yeah, just before Maria Sanchez got the ball for the cross, I think two Mazatlan players kind of collided with each other, and the ref could have paused the game. He didn't, but all credit to Chivas. You keep playing until you hear the whistle. So the play led to a goal. Alisa Cervantes' second goal of the day, and then at the 48th minute, Alicia gets her hat trick, assisted by Jaramillo. Great ball into the box, and again the movement from Alicia just great, and a great goal to end the first half.
Yeah, and also Jaramillo like also consolidating her place within the team,
Mm-hmm.
because I was listening a bit of an interview with her. I didn't finish it, but she said the thing that we're doing really well is that we're playing easy, in terms of like trying to find the best option. Like they don't know, they don't care like who has the best chance. If they have it, then they have to pass the ball or finish or whatever. So I think that we're seeing like a lot of that awareness of where their teammates are, the positioning, and like really good decision making for everyone. And so I think that something that Jaramillo mentioned, that it's really obvious when you see the team playing, like the decision making is great all over.
Yeah, and then that was her second assist of the season, I believe. She had one earlier with to Nicole Perez.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she has two. So it in terms of assists, Maria Sanchez has five now, and then Jaramillo and Nicole Perez have two each. Which I think we also need to mention, like Nicole Perez is having a really great season too.
Yeah, yeah. I think just as a midfielder, it's easy to get overlooked. But if you think about it, if you don't have to mention like a player's name throughout a game, that's usually a good thing because you either get mentioned a lot because you made a big mistake, or you score goals.
Yeah, and I think that with Nicole Perez, it's kind of deceiving in a way because we expect so much of her. And I think
Hmm.
that sometimes we forget that she's like very, very young, even though she's already had like a ton of experience and everything. But it's great to see her like recover that level that we know that she has. So I think that it's great to see her like scoring, assisting, just all over the place. So it's great to see her disinvolved and back on track too.
Yep. At the 62nd minute, we see it. The two midfielders, they get together for a goal. A nice ball into the box from Nicole Perez off a set piece, and a good job from Chivas to not be offside. A lot of people were commenting about that all four Chivas players that were in the box from that cross, they were all onside. Nobody was offside. Anybody could have finished that, and Carolina Jaramillo finished it as well as she could, because it was she took a nice hit from the goalie.
Yeah, it was like confusing because I think that she tried to finish, but she didn't know what was happening, and everybody was kind of asking also for like that penalty kick because
Yeah.
I think that it could have been called. But then when they saw it go in, it was like, okay, never mind, let's just keep going. And yeah, that offside trap, it's something that we are seeing with Chore implementing that with the team. Like we see them trying to make these runs from outside the box all the way to where the cross is going to be. So that's something that we are seeing that they're really working well. I mean, even though Mazatlan maybe had some defensive mistakes, but you can see that that's something that they're really working on to get perfect.
Yeah, I don't remember if it happened in the Mazatlan game, but the previous game, remember, they also did on the corner kick. We saw a lot of that. That they all stand outside the box, and if you break that offside line, you're gonna be in there in the box alone, and you can finish.
Yeah, that's completely on Mejia. That's something that we hadn't seen from the team, and it's great that they're trying to develop like these new things, and also that they're actually working for them too.
Yeah, so those are all all five goals that Chivas scored against Mazatlan. It was pretty not a complicated game at all for Chivas, and once again they look great. And I think we got a little more of the team unity. We got to see a little bit more of it. We've been talking about it on, I feel like, every episode. And this game, Blanca Felix was subbed off after Chivas was up 5-0. Celeste Espino got to make her first team debut, but the funny thing is that the ref wouldn't allow Blanca Felix to walk up to the half line, where the bench is, and give her support to Espino. So she just waited at the goal until she got there, and then gave her like a thumbs up and walked off to the bench, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, Celeste is a player that she's like Chivas developed. She comes from the youth squad. She's also like very young still. I think she must be like 17 or 18 years old. But she, even though we haven't seen her on the pitch until now, she has like a very consistent track record with the national team, with the U17.
Hmm.
So she's like, I think that she's got a ton of potential. I mean, just looking at her, she has like great height, which is something that we might not see. We don't have as many like tall goalkeepers in the Mexican league. So I think that if she keeps like training well, she could be like a very interesting option because of her youth, and like she already has that physical presence. So we just need to wait and see what she can offer to the team. But I mean, she was able to keep the clean sheet, so maybe like those debut nerves, they're like off now, and like she can just like keep waiting for her chances and just showing herself whenever she can.
Yeah, I was worried a little for her when because she got subbed in right as Mazatlan was gonna take a corner kick. Those are, I feel like that's not a play you want to get subbed into, because you're fresh and you're not really warmed up. You haven't gotten the feel for the game yet. But nothing happened, thankfully.
Yeah, they were mentioning it on the broadcast that Chore was like consistently talking to the defenders and telling them like to go and really back her up if anything like happened on a dangerous play. So you can see that they're really like trying to have everyone's back on the games. And yeah, I mean, I think that she had like a scare or two, and maybe she could have been subbed in sooner. Like the first half, Blanca
Yeah.
basically did nothing. Like she spent most of the first half outside the box. That would be interesting to see how many minutes she spent outside the box instead of in. But I don't think we're ever going to be able to find that out. But it would be funny to check, just because that's how dominant Chivas was this game.
In my head, I was like, she can recreate the Tubo Gomez moment right now, where he was sitting against the goalpost reading a book,
Yeah,
because
someone
she
should
wasn't
have
doing
thrown her a
anything.
magazine or something.
And then at the end of the game, it was nice to see Shori Mejia presented the game ball to Alicia Cervantes for her hat trick, and once again you see the whole team surrounding her and celebrating with her.
Yeah, I mean, you see these kind of moments and these glimpses of the team's like chemistry on and off the field, and it's really great to see. I mean, honestly, in the 3 years I've been watching the team, I hadn't seen them like this united or like this happy since the championship run. Like what Chore has been able to do and the atmosphere the team has right now is incredible to see because and it's funny because Chore has mentioned that he worked with Fernando Camacho, who was the coach like back then in the championship season. So maybe he must be taking like some pointers in terms of how to keep like that good atmosphere because I mean it must have been hard coming in like so soon before the season start and like maybe he didn't like really pick the signing so he had to do his best with a team that he didn't really choose, right? So that he's able to create this atmosphere and to like really generate this with the players is really special to see.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit has to go to Shori Mejia, just because, like you said, he was basically just took a team that wasn't his, and look what he's done four games into the season.
Yeah, and you see it like those little moments like Blanca waiting on Celeste and I was mentioning it, I wrote about it for Food Mix Nation that you see like these shifts in the roles some players are taking. Like you see Blanca taking like a more of a leadership role.
Hmm.
Now like she's 24 but she's kind of a veteran because she has always been with the team and like Nicole also maturing and like this U20 generation the team has and you can see that all these little shifts happening but they are just like a you can see that they're just like a big family, right? Like everyone's like giving their best on and off the pitch.
Yeah, like I keep bringing up the social media too. You see it if you follow the players. They're always posting stories together. They're posting stories from practice. It's all like laughing. They're like a big family, and I think that kind of gets hopes up that this team can make a really deep run into playoffs and maybe even get to the final.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted like a podcast that I listened to about team chemistry, which was really interesting. And so it was the author of a book, and she was mentioning that there's like the personal confidence, like the confidence, the trust you can have on a person, and task trust, which is like trusting that your teammate is going to like do their job well. And I
Yeah,
think that right now we can see that this team has both like they get along as people as human beings but you can tell that there's also this trust that your teammate is going to make like the best decisions to score or to defend for the team. So it's great to see both of them because you may have like teams that necessarily either don't get along well as people but execute well, or you can get like a team where they don't get along badly, but they're not really trusting the capabilities of their teammates. So seeing them have both, I mean, I think it's really great to see.
yeah, and that's going to be key going to Chivas' next games, because they're going to play 3 games in 7 days. Starting this Monday coming up, they're going to play Santos, then they play Cruz Azul, and then they finish their week with Pumas. So a couple of tough. I don't know how tough they're going to be, but just such short period to recover from game to game. So it's going to be tough, and it's going to be on Shorty to rotate players and see what he does.
And we've seen some of these rotations, and I think that everyone's on a good enough level right now that it doesn't like make a difference too much in terms of performance. So I think that it's great that he was kind of looking forward to that and making those little rotations to see how everybody was doing. And also like the physical preparation part, I think that physically they're doing also really well. I mean, I mentioned before with Mario Dominguez as their physical trainer, we're seeing like less injuries and looks like they're recovering better. So that's also going to help them this week. And out of the three teams they're facing, they're like relatively manageable matchups. I mean, it's not going to be. It's always like you cannot underestimate anyone, but they are like relatively easy. I mean, you're not getting like Tigres and Rayadas back to back or something like that. Santos is like probably the easiest of the three. Cruz Azul is interesting. I mean, they're like a team that can really fight and they have like great players, and they're also like on the previous game that they had, Chivas was winning 3-0, and then Cruz Azul scored three times, and it ended on a draw. So it's going to be interesting to see like this version of Chivas, how well it can respond to Cruz Azul. And Pumas, I don't know, is Pumas away or a home game? That's
Pumas
I
is
haven't.
an away game.
Yeah, that's also going to be make it tougher because you're traveling to Mexico City, which has like a higher altitude, and Pumas has like a really strong defense, so it's also going to be a very good test for Chivas to see how they can handle that.
Yeah, I was looking at Pumas' results, and they only have one. They've only given up one goal throughout the season so far, and then Cruz Azul has they've held up well against I want to say like the better teams. They played Rayadas. They only lost 2-1. They had a 2-0 loss to America, but again, America is one of the stronger teams in the league. So they're holding their own against the big teams in Liga MX Femenil right now.
Yeah, Pumas is kind of like hit or miss in that they either don't score or they score three goals. So it's kind of like a bit hard to predict in terms of how well they're going to do on a given day. But defensively, they've always been like really, really strong. I mean, they have a great goalkeeper, Melanie Villeda, and their defense is always solid. So they are just like the kind of team that is more solid on defense than on attack, but they can still like we've seen them score three goals on two matches, so they have that punch. It's just like a matter of seeing how well they're going to do that day. And Cruz Azul is like a very maybe I think that they are a bit underrated. I really like them. I think they have like a lot of talented players, and I've also seen that their coach has been making like or getting better at making adjustments mid game. So that's also going to be like an interesting test. I think that both Cruz Azul and Pumas are going to be bring like interesting things to the table that I want to see Chivas react to see what they're going to do with that with those challenges.
Yeah, as I was looking at Chivas' schedule, because these past four games they've controlled and at sometimes cruised. So I was like thinking I was hoping they would verse some kind of adversity in their next couple of games before they end up playing Rayadas in week 9, because that's not you don't want the adversity to come against an opponent like Rayadas. You want to have some battles before that.
Yeah, and they kind of had a bit of that against Toluca
Mm-hmm.
when they were like 1-1 at halftime. But yeah, I mean, also the thing with Rayadas is that I think that they are not a favorable matchup for them. I think that they do way better against Tigres, even though arguably Tigres could be like the stronger team. I think that somehow their style of play suits them better, and I think that Rayadas is like a bit more complicated. But I mean, Licha knows them well, so hopefully that will help this time around.
Yeah, La Ley del Ex, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we have even seen like Licha's former teammates like really cheering on her on social media and like being really happy for her, like the Rayadas players. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that she can like put that aside a little bit and just keep scoring as much as she has. Because
Um,
I treated that today like Licha already like equaled the record for regular season goals for Chivas, because I've mentioned this before too. Like Chivas has never had like this kind of striker figure that can deliver 10, 12 goals during a season. Like we usually have like a lot of goals like split among a lot of players. So the highest so far was 7 goals from Brenda Viramontes, and that was all the way back to 2017. So that also like it's kind of been like a perfect match in terms of Alicia bringing in everything the team needed and had been looking for such a long time too.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if she keeps going at this rate, she's gonna break Ruby Soto's record in 2 seasons, right? Ruby Soto has 20 goals as the
Uh,
all time
yeah,
leader, I think.
20. Yeah, 20 over like I don't know, like 4 seasons because she was like she scored like 5 goals, but she was like very consistent. Like every season was a
Yeah,
5 goal season.
yeah, and Licha already has 7. And she said she promised in that interview. She said she'd have 10 by week 9. I think she said. But if she's going at this rate, she's gonna break that next game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if she can sustain it, right? Because
Yeah,
that also happens like with the super liderato thing. Like it keeps piling and keeps piling. You're wondering like when is this going to like burst or break? And I think that we were kind of like maybe expecting it to happen this week because they needed like what a 4-0 win.
yeah,
And I thought, okay, maybe if they don't end in first place, like it's not going to be as bad, but they just keep exceeding expectations. But that also like generates like this anticipation of seeing like when is it going to like fall apart a little bit for them.
yeah. I mean, you know, if we've watched the Alicia Cervantes interviews that they've been doing, and credit to Mexican press because there's been so much like Chivas femenil content out like the past week. I feel like every time I refresh YouTube, there's a new interview. I refresh Twitter, there's a new interview of Chivas players, and you know that Alicia Cervantes interview that she did with through the end. I really like that interview. Like she told the story of how she got to Chivas, and you know how she really wanted to be here, not taking offers from other teams, and you know that I'm just like a bigger Alicia Cervantes fan than I was already.
Yeah, I mean it's just like that's why I'm saying that if this is a dream, don't wake me up because like if you had asked like build like that perfect player that Chivas needs like right on front to score goals, like you just like would have ended up with Alicia Cervantes. Like she really loves the team. She's really performing well. She's getting along with her teammates. Like you just really can't ask for much more. I mean, she's like the total package right now. And I mean, I think that also like Chivas kind of deserved that little lucky break because I know that they hadn't been doing like as well and they were like starting to get back and then like the coaching thing happened. So I mean this is like their lucky break that they really needed to get.
Yeah, in that interview it was funny because you know she mentions her time at Atlas and Monterrey, and they would always ask her why she wouldn't kiss the badge, and she's like no, she's like I can't kiss it. And then first thing she does with Chivas right away kisses the badge.
Yeah, she was an undercover agent all the time. Like I really didn't know that she was a Chivas fan. Like until she signed and then like I started seeing like that little glow in her eyes and I was like we might have like something special here because I really did have her like on my list of players that I wanted to see but I didn't expect it to be like this good like this is like beyond any expectation I think for everyone.
Yeah, it's been great so far. 4 weeks into the game, and you know hopefully she can keep it up to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep enjoying this and just like I really hope that Chivas puts those jerseys available for sale because I really want my Alicia Cervantes jersey now and I don't want to have to buy the Rayadas one because that's the only option right now.
I mean, it's kind of hard to pick right now between an Alicia Cervantes jersey or a Maria Sanchez jersey. I think.
Yeah, you can just get the home and the away, like one with the Maria
Yep.
Sanchez number and one with the Licha, and that you cannot do wrong with those choices.
All right, just to recap, the Chivas' next games will be against Santos on September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. No, September 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe that is a Monday night. Then they will play Cruz Azul on the 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be a home game. And Chivas versus Pumas on the 20th at 10 a.m. in the morning. So I'm going to have to do what I have to do in the morning so I can watch that game.
Yeah, that's going to be like a an early one. But yeah, I mean, I hope that they'll do well, and like this is going to be like a good test, like physically, mentally, and and like to see what they can do with like all these challenges that they're going to be facing.
Exactly. And Melissa, the player profile that we decided to do for the week, and I feel like things keep aligning. The players we pick keep doing things that we want to talk about. So this week we're going to talk about Blanca Felix, the Chivas goalkeeper.
Yeah, Blanca is like a player that I really enjoy watching. Um, I really like goalkeepers. Like they're some of my favorite players, and like Blanca is she has like such an amazing like backstory and also like her history with Chivas because she was also like a Chivas fan like her whole life. Like she even has shown like this photo of her like really young and at the Estadio Akron and like so happy to be there like as a fan. And she's mentioned that her idol is Osvaldo Sanchez, and I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
an interesting choice because there are like some maybe parallels in how they play,
Mm-hmm.
like this big personality and like they like to make like good air saves and stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean Blanca has consolidated like her spot as an iconic player for the team really in these 3 years because the thing with her is that she wasn't even the starting goalkeeper on the team's first season. She was the third goalkeeper. And then Karen Gomez got injured and she stepped over Ana Paula Rubalcaba. And when it really blew up for her was on the semifinals of that championship run when she played at the team played at the Azteca. And she mentioned that when she arrived there, like she couldn't believe what was happening because she had never like played as a pro and she had never really left her home state or anything, and to just go in 7 months from being in school in her university and then to playing the Azteca, like it was like a big shock for her, and she was like really, she said that she felt small when they went to the pitch, and that's when it really she really caught everyone's attention because of the really great game she had, that she had like really important saves to bring Chivas to the final. So that's when she kind of started like building her own legend for Chivas.
Yeah, I remember I watched those games back then, and I had to like find streams, so it was so hard to watch those games. Even the final that Chivas won, like it was a struggle. But I remember Blanca Felix standing out, and the Osvaldo Sanchez comparisons are definitely there. I'm like, that's what I really liked about her because personally, my favorite goalkeeper ever is Osvaldo. And then watching Blanca Felix, I was like, oh, she has to be a fan because the way she plays, like she's never afraid to go for the ball. Like she's great at one on ones. So like, yeah, I'm a big Blanca Felix fan.
And you have to wonder like how much of her game like is modeled after out of her background because she stopped playing
Mm-hmm.
football because there weren't any teams for girls where she comes from, and she had to do karate because that was like the only option. And she's a black belt, and she even went to like the Olimpiada Nacional, which is like the national Olympics, like representing her home state. So she must have been like really good, and you kind of see like those reflexes and some of those skills like they translate into the way she plays, which may not sometimes look like as orthodox
Yeah.
as a goalkeeper that has been like more classically trained, and that kind of also gives her like this little extra flair or her own style of goalkeeping. And you can tell that like she's not afraid of going and like risking like her face
Mm-hmm.
to save that goal. So I think that you can see those little hints and elements of that karate background on her style.
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely affects how she plays. Like you said, she's not scared. In karate, you get kicked in the face, so it's not any different on the soccer pitch.
And in terms of like the reflexes and like the strength she has to make those jumps too. So it's interesting because she comes from this like unorthodox background, and like she's mentioned that she hasn't had like such an easy life because she lost her father when she was 4, and then like her mom left and she was raised with her grandparents, and there are some like really like nice photos of her in the when they won the title when she's hugging like her grandmother and she's like meeting her after winning the title. Those are like really really great moments, and she seems to have like a really strong mentality too. Like she speaks on interviews like goalkeeping is really tough mentally. It's not sometimes as much as your physical capabilities, but it like really tests your mental strength. And like she said that she's really passionate and really emotional, and that she whenever she gets scored on, like she feels really bad, not just for herself but like for her teammates. So she really has like this really like passionate and committed personality to the team, and you can just really see her, and like we've seen her evolve from like this youngster who was like the third goalkeeper into being like the captain now that when Tanya wasn't like available to play. And she's really stepping and maturing into this leadership role for the team.
Yeah, and I think she loves the team. Every goal they score, she celebrates like she scored one, and I like her evolution as a player, and especially as a Chivas player.
Yeah, she's kind of like assuming that role now, and you can also like see that she's like a very popular with fans,
Hmm.
and you can tell like the way that she treats fans, because I've been able to see her like a couple of times in the meet and greets that the club organizes. The way that she treats fans is like really special, because she really listens to people. Like people really love her and really respond to her, and she's not like, oh, I mean, I've heard this a thousand times. Like she's really interested and invested in fans when they like approach her, and she has had like a lot of really nice gestures to fans too. Like I remember there was this video of a deaf fan that used sign language, and she knows a bit of sign language too, because she mentioned that she learned it at college, and she was communicating with the fan, and like for the fan it was like surprising maybe for him to know that she knew sign language. And he was also a goalkeeper, so like that was like a really special moment. And also I know that she went to visit a young boy who had lost his father, and like that really like maybe spoke to her personally. And she went to meet the child, and took him like some presents and stuff. And she really does these things, and they feel like really genuine. Like she's just like seems like a really caring person. So that also like has cemented like her status as a fan favorite, and it feels like really genuine, like really from the heart what she does for fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. And anyone listening, like, how can you not love her after hearing that? It's like you got to support Blanca Felix, great goalkeeper. One of is she one of three players left from the team that won the championship, or there are
I
more
know
than that?
that there are probably more, because I know that there's Daniela Pulido, Tania Morales, I think Leah Romero, Annette Vasquez, and Blanca. But yeah, I mean, she has been like since the first league season, and she's mentioned it on interviews too. Like I dropped everything and went to the Chivas tryouts because that's where I wanted to play. And like she says, she only brought in like clothes for like 2 days, and she had to like talk to her grandma, like because her grandmother told her like, you're really dropping everything for Chivas, right? And she was like, yeah, I need to do this. And she was surprised like when she was offered like a contract as a professional. And I mean, it's kind of like, we say that goalkeepers need to have luck, and maybe she's gotten a little bit of luck, but also like a ton of hard work to really be at the right place, but also like to taking full advantage of the opportunities that she's had.
Absolutely. And she has three clean sheets this season. But the Luca game was the first time she gave up a goal, and she's made great saves in some of the games that they've played.
Yeah, she's like that's also something that Chore mentioned. Like even though the focus has been on the strikers and on the goals, Blanca has also like been really important in terms of keeping things like for Chivas, keeping those wins. And we saw that in the Toluca match, like when they were 1-1, and she
Yeah,
had like this really important save to keep Toluca at bay. And if they had scored, like who knows what could have happened, right?
exactly. Do you have anything else, Melissa, that you want to mention about Blanca Felix before we wrap up the pod?
Well, no, not much. I mean, I think that she's a favorite for a reason, and it's great to see her play. I mean, I really enjoy having her at Chivas. I think that she's kind of also like a perfect fit for the team for so many reasons. And yeah, I mean, she's really like a player that you just enjoy watching, and she's like also a great person, so that kind of makes it even better. And like I know I'm really proud of having her like in the team, and also of her like being also like a captain or a leader for them too.
For sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think this has been another episode of the Chivas del Norte podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll probably do 3 games in one, right, Melissa? Because of the
That's
short
going to be like a
turnaround.
3 hour
Yeah.
3 hour podcast. Extra big special, and hopefully Chivas will still be super líderes by the next time we get an episode done.
Hopefully. But thank you for listening. We are out.